What's happening? So today I'm going to do something a little different because we just lost Trugoy from De La Soul. I figured I would give you one of my favorite beats from De La Soul, which was a personal favorite album of mine when I was a young boy. Was 3 Feet High and Rising. Very, very cool lyrics that had meaning. Tons of samples, tons and tons of awesome samples that they would mix together. I mean, they had Hall & Oates sample, they had Steely Dan sample, Yes samples, Otis Redding samples, and so many more. So this particular beat, very, very simple. I'm just going to give you the basic, the intro and the beat to it, is from Me, Myself, and I, which is probably their most well-known beat and song. So it starts off very easy, very similar to Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so very easy. And then on 1 is the bass drum. So very, very simple beat, but it sounds great. So you've got 1 on the bass drum, and I'll give you 2 variations on this. There's 1 on the bass drum, 2 on the snare drum. And then on beat number 3, it's 3E on the bass drum. Boom. And then 4. So just bass drum, snare, is 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Now for the hi-hat, it's a drum machine. It's an 808 or a 909. So it's programmed, but that doesn't mean we can't play it. So you could do a couple things. You could do 16th notes. That doesn't quite sound right because there's a distinct upbeat. So personally, I would just play the upbeat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and every once in a while it throws a and. So 1 and 2 and 3. So and so on. So that's the basic beat. Now, the bass drum also follows the bass synth, I think it is. I don't think it's a real bass, pretty closely. So sometimes it's hard to hear if it's bass drum or bass synth. So personally, I would like to add some of the bass drum to be a little bit more busy in the beginning to kind of sync up with that bass. So the rhythm for the first part is bump, 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 bump. So you can hit that. So it's pretty easy, and even though it's easy to play, there's something to be said about just keeping your time steady and locking in. So a lot of times as drummers we try to play fast, we try to get crazy, but a lot of times we don't just sit back and just lock into a groove, which can be harder than going all crazy and going nuts. I remember seeing a show a long time ago. It was Medeski, Martin, and Wood with Billy Martin on drums, who's awesome, and I love his playing. Very busy, jazz stuff, fantastic. The opening band was Maceo Parker, and I'm not sure if it was Kenwood Denard or whoever he had on drums, but this guy was solid as a rock. And I just remember for a good portion of the show, he kept that going solid for a very long period of time. And it just locked into the groove, and it was right for the music. So there's a time and a place for everything. So even though this beat is simple, play along with it. Make sure you're not speeding up, slowing down, and really lock in. The bass drum is really the anchor for this one. So there it is. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. And if you haven't heard 3 Feet High and Rising, it's a pretty fantastic album. I mean, it might be a little dated, but that's who isn't. So if there's any questions, problems, you let me know.